ladies and gentlemen, Wendy Watson.
All right, everybody stand up.
Oh, yes.
Put your arms up and around in a circle. Gather the energy as you move your arms up and push the energy down out through your feet. All right, go ahead and have a seat. Raise your hand if you've ever had your feelings hurt. Raise your hand if you've ever had your feelings hurt and you don't ever want it to happen again. Raise your hand if you believe energy is in everything. Before I move into the 3 layers of forgiveness, I want to extend a thank you to Ms. Tawny Lee for hosting this amazing healing conference with all of these fantastic speakers and all the great insights and healing tools that we all get to walk away with this weekend. So thank you. Thank you. And I want to thank all of you for showing up.
Yes.
For yourselves, to be here to learn and to grow and to broaden your horizons. I had the pleasure of speaking with somebody this week that has spent tens of thousands of dollars over decades to learn how to forgive her mother. She just recently had her aha moment, and we're going to get to that at the end of the speech. Now, most people fall straight into the intellectual forgiveness. What happened? What were the aspects that played around that had an effect on the situation? What were your thought processes? What were your actions? What things throughout the day led up to that event? Maybe it was a couple of days before that. Maybe it was a year ago that you had an experience with this same person that left an imprint, that left an experience that you couldn't get past, that created a second situation. And this is where most people fall into, right? We have to figure out what happened intellectually to be able to find the lessons, to be able to find the gratitude, which leads into the forgiveness. Unfortunately, this is where most people stop. Intellectual forgiveness is only the first layer of 3. You think you have forgiven someone, but a month later, 3 months later, a year later, you're driving home from work and the situation starts playing around in your head again. And all the emotions start creeping up. The anger, the confusion starts boiling up in your gut. Your heart gets heavy, gets tense, and you're like, what in the world is going on? I thought I forgave them. Why is it coming back up again? And then you go home and you can't sleep, maybe just that night, maybe a few nights. You realize your digestion is off. Your back pain becomes chronic. You don't have the energy to exercise like you want to. Maybe it causes another argument. That's because you haven't done the emotional forgiveness. The emotional forgiveness involves acknowledging the emotions. What emotions did you feel? How do you define those for yourself? What do they mean to you? Where did they stem from? And then accepting that that's how you feel. There's nothing wrong with that. There's a reason why those emotions came up. Having compassion enough to accept them. But then you have to release them in order to heal them. Right? So how do you release them? Did you talk to somebody? Did you journal it? Did you create a painting that expressed your emotions? And then the healing comes in when you take ownership of your emotions. You're the master of your domain. You're the master of your emotions. You get to choose how you feel. So how do you want to feel about this person, about this situation? Do you want to feel compassionate? Compassion because you get to choose how you want to live? Compassion for giving the other person their right to live how they want to live, to feel how they want to feel? Do you want to feel understanding? understanding that we're all humans and that we're all perfect. And we've all had those moments where we could have said something a little bit better, right?
Right.
When my ex-husband told me I wasn't fun anymore, who hasn't had one of those moments? I could have gotten upset. I could have created an argument. I could have let him sleep on the couch for 3 days, right? But instead, I paused, I stepped aside, and I went through the emotional process. I went through all the emotions and defined them and got past them. If I hadn't gone through that, I would have missed the opportunity to take ownership of my joy. Because I realized, even though he was projecting his own emotions on me, he was right. I wasn't doing the things that I found joy anymore. I decided to take that opportunity to get my joy back, to declare for myself that nobody else was ever going to steal my joy from me ever again. All right, we got 2 layers down, 1 more to go. When I took my joy back, I realized I had alienated myself. I looked around, I looked at my life, and I had alienated myself from my friends, from my family. I also realized how much my marriage had deteriorated. It took me years to be able to fully and completely love again. Spiritual forgiveness. Even though I had went through the intellectual and emotional forgiveness, I hadn't gone through spiritual forgiveness. Spiritual forgiveness is like that clause that you see in the contracts these days, the hold harmless clause. I promise to hold XYZ company and their affiliates and their business partners and their relatives and their plumbers and whoever else, right?
Right.
Harmless of doing harm for XYZ. Spiritual harmless is holding the other person spiritually harmless. It's holding yourself spiritually harmless. It's holding God, Spirit Divine, spiritually harmless. Does that sound empowering to you? Raise your hand if that sounds empowering.
Absolutely. Yes.
Raise your hand if it sounds empowering and you want that in your life. Raise your hand if it sounds empowering and you're determined to have that in your life. Yes, amen. Once you can find the harmlessness, here's the scary part. Then you have to surrender. I know, Kent, it sounds like a scary word. I know, Regina, it feels scary to surrender. But surrendering to the divine master plan.
Amen. Yes.
Knowing that they know more than we do.
Thank goodness.
Right? We're but mere humans. We don't have that existential intelligence. Surrendering to that master plan and letting go.
Yes.
The unbridled love, that deep-rooted inner peace that you will find when you find that spiritual forgiveness is like anything else in this world. Raise your hand if you believe that you deserve that. Raise your hand if you're ready to get there. Yes. I want everyone in this room to experience that spiritual transformation. So I'm offering everyone in this room a free spiritual transformation phone call with me, one-on-one, confidential. And those that book a meeting with me will get a free copy of She Talks magazine, where you will find my article on how to transform your communication from chaos to clarity using my 70-20-10 rule. And the first 3 people, QR code please.
Oh, sorry, I'm failing as Vanna right now.
The Johnny Cash of Vanna. The first 3 people that book their meeting with me will also get a free signed copy of my book, Verbal Turbulence, the 70-20-10 rule. So everybody get your phones out. Tawny, you're already on yours.
I'll walk around and I'll turn the computer real quick. It's all good.
Scan the QR code and get your appointment booked. It's free, no obligations.
Got it.
Because I believe everyone in here deserves to forgive. I believe you deserve to let go of that anger, to let go of the confusion, to let go of the betrayal. And you deserve to move forward in life with peace in your relationships.
Amen.
Yes, amen.
And you don't have to do it alone, because I am here. And let's do it together. Thank you.
Thank you.